Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about how to convert a mixed fraction into an improper fraction. I'm going to be here to guide you step by step, and without much further ado, let's go straight into our lesson. So starting off, we do want to know what a mixed fraction is. And to simply put it, a mixed fraction is when you have a whole number and a proper fraction. That is what makes a mixed fraction. And just as a reminder, a proper fraction is when you have a numerator that is smaller than its denominator. So, for example, I have 7 and 3 over 6. 3 over 6 is my proper fraction. 7 is my whole number. That is my mixed fraction. That is what makes a fraction mixed. Now, we also must know what an improper fraction is. And an improper fraction is the opposite of a proper fraction. An improper fraction consists of a fraction that has a bigger numerator and a smaller denominator. For example, this could be 18 over 6. 18 is the bigger number here, and it's my numerator. 6, which is my denominator, is the smallest number here. This is what makes the fraction improper. Now, there are some steps you can follow to converting that will help us along the way. The very first step is to multiply the whole number by the denominator. So this means when I see that whole number, like for example, 7, and I see that denominator being 2, I'm going to do 7 times 2 and I get 14. That's just a quick example, of course. We do put these steps into practice once we get to our examples. Now, the second step of that would be to add that multiplied sum by the numerator, or to the numerator, technically. So once I get that sum from my whole number denominator, I'm simply going to add it to the numerator. And once I have that, I'm actually going to place that sum on top of the denominator I was originally given. Now let's put these steps into practice. So starting off, I have 2 and 15 over 20. Remembering my first step, I'm going to want to multiply the whole number by the denominator. So to actually do 2 times 20. And when I do that, I get 40. Now, going on to my second step, I'm going to have to add that 40 to my numerator, which is 15. So I'm going to do 40 plus 15, and I actually get 55. So now that I have 55, I'm going to want to place that sum above the denominator that I was originally given. So I'm going to do 55 over 20. That is my improper fraction for 2 and 15 over 20. Going on to our second example, I have 11 and 10 over 11. That is my mixed fraction. Now, going back to our steps, the very first thing I'm going to want to do is multiply the whole number by the denominator. So I'm going to do 11 times 11, and I actually get 121. So now that I have that 121, I'm going to want to add that to my numerator. So 121 plus 10 gets me 131. Now that I have that, I'm actually going to place that 131 above my 11, which is the number that I was originally given. So 131 over 11 is my improper fraction for 11 and 10 over 11. And lastly, going on to our last example, I have 30 and 2 over 100. The very first thing I'm going to want to do, multiply the whole number by that denominator. So 30 times 100 gets me 3,000. The second step I want to follow is to add that multiplied sum to my numerator. So I'm going to do 3,000 plus 2, and I get 3,002. So now that I have that, I'm going to want to place that 3,002 above my 100. And when I do that, I get 3,002 over 100, and that is my improper fraction for 30 and 2 over 100. So that's all for today's video. I have a video basically explaining how to turn a improper fraction into a mixed fraction if you want to check that out. But until next time, this is Ari, the math tutor, signing out. Bye.